Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I am here with 90 Day Fiancé the other way. It's tell all time, guys. Part one. I'm here with my recap. If I was going to give this tell all part one a grade, I would give it a solid B plus. Between Corona taking over hosting duties for Sean and Sarper somehow became the MVP of this episode. I don't know how, but he did. So let's hop right into it. So it starts off with Corona showing up like, ugh, I really don't want to do this. James is in the car and they're like teasing us for a second until we realize Tata's with him. Surprise, surprise. So at the studio, we have Josh and he's in the States for a family function. Okay. And we have Joanne, and it's like, okay, where's Sean? Is he not going to be there with you? She's like, but wait a second, I'll be right back. And she comes back with her man. So Sean is there. And then Corona comes in, James and Tata come in. So basically everyone is starting to, come in, say their hellos and their greetings and stuff. So now Sarper and Shekinah show up, okay, and and Sarper immediately has an opinion about Corona. Corona is so noisy. Yes, I agree with you, Sarper. So this is where Sarper starts his path to becoming the MVP of this episode. Yes, him and Shekinah are sharing a stick of butter. You aren't seeing things. These crazy motherfuckers are actually sitting backstage sharing a stick of butter. Why? Because they do the high fat diet. Okay, they only eat foods that are in high fat. And Sarper was loving the stick of butter. He was like, "Oh, it tastes so good." Okay, whatever floats your boat. So now it's time for them to go on stage. Corona sees Inky and she immediately flips him off. So Inky obviously is not there. Lily is obviously not there. So they are both positioned on their screens, ready to go. So are you wondering what they said about Stadler and Dempsey? Well, Sean looks into the camera and says, Stadler and Dempsey have broken up, so they will not be here with us tonight. Really, since when has that stopped anyone from showing up to a tell all? Come on, Sean. Do you really think we're that dumb? Even the viewers who aren't active on the YouTube streets and the Instagram streets, because believe it or not, there are some people that just watch the show without looking at the social media behind the show. They even knew that was bullshit. Okay? Sean actually looked in the camera and said they're broken up, so they won't be here tonight. I'm moving on. So she asks Corona, did you say hi to Inky? And Corona's like, no, why should I? He didn't say hi to me. And Inky's like, hi, Corona. And she's like, he's just doing this to be a dick. So Sean, who looks damn fucking good in his suit. Did I mention that? How fucking good he looks in his suit. That man is fine. I know I'm an old married woman, but I could say this. That man is fine AF. So he's getting pissed off at Inky, okay? Because, Corona's like sitting there looking aggravated and whatnot, and he's like laughing. So Sean turns around and tells him, you know that you're a piece of shit. And an Irish accent gets me every time. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And he's like, you're lucky you're not sitting here in person. And I'm thinking in my head, yeah, Inky, you are lucky you're not sitting there in person because Sean would have probably body slammed you by now. So Inky's already getting attacked, as you would say, okay, because Corona has spent her time backstage talking about Inky and basically turning everybody against him before they even got on stage. So we start off with a good old Sarper and Shekinah. So Sarper is in the US because basically he does whatever Shekinah wants. It's easier for Shekinah to be in the US because in Turkey it's hard for her to adjust because of the language. And oh, yeah, by the way, her daughter's in the US. It was like her daughter was like a fucking afterthought. And language was the first, the language was the first problem. And then the second obstacle is that her daughter is in the US. Like, the fuck. Okay. So Sean asked Sarper, would you have proposed to Shekinah if you would have known that that would not have kept her in Turkey? Because remember, that was like, his ulterior motives. He was going to propose to her so she would want to stay in Turkey. There was a really, really long pause. I mean, really, really long pause. So he's, talking about how Shekinah could be very possessive of him. Okay. Um, he's been in the US for a week. At the time of filming this, he's been in the US for a week. And she's like, the minute we landed in Los Angeles, you came off the plane, you were like, everybody lock up your daughters. And he said, I was only being sarcastic. I was just joking around. He's like, what am I gonna do? I'm just peacocking around the town. Not cocking around the town, just peacocking. So I just found it highly amusing, okay, that this dynamic between Sarper and Shekinah, because when we were first introduced to them, Sarper was like very alpha male dominant, and Shekinah was submissive. Now we have Shekinah as the boss bitch dominant one, and Sarper as the fluffy bun bun, as he describes himself a couple of episodes back. So they sort of, Sarper says two things he will not do with Shekinah is share location and let her look through his phone. Okay, because he has some group chats that may be questionable, and he doesn't want Shekinah to get upset. What kind of group chats are these? It's just a bunch of men acting like boys. They may send, naked pictures and say, hey, what do you think of this swan? Put up a nipple up there, and what would you do with that? And I'm listening to this like, I didn't know there was group chats out there like this. My husband better not be part of one. What the hell? So he's talking about this group chat. Sean jokes that he's probably the admin of it because he swears that he doesn't participate. He just looks at it, but he doesn't engage. He doesn't comment. He doesn't upload anything. He's just an observer. He's a quiet observer. And Sean's like, yeah, he's probably the fucking admin. So Sarper's like, sometimes I feel like I have to ask permission. May I go outside, honey? Because she is so possessive and jealous. So now we bring in Shekinah's best friend, Josh. Okay. Shekinah will not allow Sarper to have any female friends. Hell's no. Now, you would think that Sarper would not be crazy about Shekinah having a male friend, but Josh doesn't sleep with women, so it's okay. Josh thinks that this relationship is on its way to implosion because of excessive jealousy and possessiveness issues. And as we get, further on, um, he was referring to Shekinah. At the moment, I thought he was referring to Sarper. Oh no, Shekinah is possessive, jealous, and she does not want to let this man out of her sight. And the fact that they're in LA makes it even worse. He's like, I'm in Los Angeles. What could happen in Los Angeles? And Shekinah's like, yeah, that's my point exactly. We're in Los Angeles. So now we get to meet one of Sarper's friends. Quote, she's a therapist, okay? She was also one of Sarper's 2,500 one night stands. So they bring Dee Dee out, and Corona wants her popcorn. Shekinah is immediately pissed the fuck off. Dee Dee's like, yeah, I met Sarper 3 years ago, and Sarper's really a good guy. He's not the type of guy to cheat and whatever. And I don't know why Shekinah is so possessive of him. And she's like, I really don't care what you think about our relationship, bitch. Okay, like, why are you even here, bitch? I really don't care what you think. I think it's so funny that you have an opinion. I'm out. Peace out. Let me know when the bitch is gone. I'm leaving. So she walks off, and they're still on stage. And Dee Dee starts showing the message thread from Sarper. She's like all scrolling. She's like, oh, yeah, check this out. All the messages that I have from Sarper and all the pictures. And look, 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 look. So Shekinah is back in the dressing room, and she refuses to leave. She refuses to leave her dressing room. And Sarper's like, you see, I told you she can be very unpredictable. So now he goes backstage with everybody else. Shekinah's sitting in her dressing room looking like this. And Sarper goes sits with the guys and starts conversating with the guys. Corona's like, knock, knock. Yoo-hoo. Is everything okay in there? So Shekinah's like, I'm okay. It just kind of pisses me off that he hasn't even come to check in on me yet. He's sitting here talking to the guys. So Sarper goes over and she's like, why didn't you come straight up as soon as I walked off the stage? And he's like, well, we're on the stage and I didn't know what to do. We're in a social setting. I don't know how to handle these things and blah, 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 blah. He's like, I don't know what I did wrong. And seeing the reverse of roles between Sarper and Shekinah, how Sarper's like basically putty and Play-Doh in her hands, amazed me and cracked me the fuck up. So finally, he's like, I said I'm fucking sorry already, okay? Let's get over this and go back out there. He makes her laugh, and they walk back out. So now, she kind of decided to take to her stories, and I'm sorry, be a little bit of a mean girl, okay? She posted a selfie of Dee Dee. Someone asked her, do you have issues with Dee Dee prior? The anger was misdirected, I feel, which I feel it was as well. And she says, not at all. Sarper had reached out to her about doing therapy for us. That's why there was a text in her phone from him 2 years ago saying, are you in Turkey or LA? He put her in touch with producers then, but she wasn't used for a therapy session. But they brought her onto the tell all way later instead. You didn't see the whole scene, but she was sitting there telling me over and over that Sarper wouldn't cheat on me and he is an honest person. I already know that, obviously, but what got to me was her a one night stand telling me, his girlfriend of almost 3 years, what he would or wouldn't do. Like she knew him better than me. I put up a lot and finally walked off the stage. Did you two stay together after his infidelities, whether just text or not? There has never been infidelities in our relationship, and I wouldn't stay if there was. Sarper knows that. He's never made me question his loyalty. So someone else asked her, why post a selfie of the other woman? That's a mean girl move. Sorry, but the mean girl move was coming to me on a show and trying to make a woman doubt her man by showing old texts and pics from before they even met when she's already bombarded daily with ghosts from his past. What kind of therapist does that? I shared a pic of her, one that she posted on her own IG, and that makes me a mean girl. I bet if she shared one of me that wouldn't be mean though, right? Whose personality were you surprised by the most? I was most surprised by Corona. I thought she would be kind of loud and maybe a little obnoxious, but she isn't at all. She is outspoken and funny, but she also knows how to connect with people and is as genuine person. I really like her. She didn't care about all the scrolling through the combos. Okay. And somebody asked her, so, do you follow Dee Dee on IG to get her picture to share, or did you just creep and crop? Apparently, she's been following me for years. Just found that out last night when I saw her in the comments on 90 Day account looking for attention. How are you feeling after the first part of Tell All? I feel upset that people don't understand my frustrations with constantly having Sarper's past thrown in my face. They are misinterpreting it as insecurity, and that's not what it is. Sucks that people form such strong opinions of my character or our life on a edit made for entertainment purposes. And finally, Shekinah, this person was asking you if you could hook them up with a job on the show, not about those bad, bad colored contact lenses you were wearing on the first part of the tell all. So, just saying, girl, just saying, you totally misread that question. So after, she kind of stormed off the stage, Sean said, we're going to put a pin in this and we're going to come back to it. So now the next victims are Josh and Lily. Let's just call them, well, I'm not going to say Lily is Jasmine 2.0 because she's not, but let's just call Josh Gino 2.0. Okay. So, first of all, if Josh was going to ra- rate their relationship after their wedding, he would rate it a 6, and Lily gives it half of that. She gives it a 3, and that's really fucking bad. Okay, so Josh says he feels like they've been fighting constantly, and Lily's like, "There's no affection. We don't hug. We don't have sex. We don't do anything." Where does that sound familiar to you? Okay, so now Josh says the reason why, is because they're fighting all the time and it's just hard, for him to be intimate. And everyone's like, haven't you heard of makeup sex? Like, bang it out once, get all your frustrations in and just bang it out once. Physical closeness is very, important in a marriage. And Sarper says, she says she's lost her confidence. Okay. If you're not having sex in a marriage, you could get to at least a 4, and you're only at a 3 in your relationship. So that's really, Josh, you got to do something about this. Okay. So basically, Josh says it's, I think Lily is beautiful. I think Lily is beautiful inside and out. It's just that I don't have the sexual desire. And it sounded like I was listening to Gino all over again. So Corona asked Lily, why are you fighting for this fuckless relationship? That is a real good fucking question. I don't know why Sean doesn't come up with these questions. And Lily said, it's because I love my husband. I love my husband. And if we have to be in a sexless relationship, as long as we're happy together and we're healthy, I'm willing, to stick it out. And Sarper's like, no, you can't do that because then you guys would just be roommates. Like, what the fuck? Like, Josh, just bang your wife. Just bang it out. So he's going to be in the States for a bit. She's still in China. How are we going to keep, the flame going? Phone sex. James is a great, great supporter of phone sex. Sean said those 3 years his hand was raw. Okay, so phone sex is a great way to start off. Okay, so James even gives a couple of pointers. He's like, you don't start off with what are you wearing. You ask, what can you take off? And you better watch what you say during phone sex because one wrong thing and you kill the mood. And Sarper's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. One time we were role playing and she had on a different wig and everything. And I was like, what's your name? And she looked at me and said, what do you mean, what's my name? And that was it. The mood was killed. So he was like, we're in role playing, Shekinah. Come up with a different name. I could be anybody you want me to be. You want me to be John Travolta? I'll be John Travolta. I was fucking cracking up. I'm like, Sarper, you are too fucking much. Okay. So now Sean gets to what I think is a very inappropriate topic of conversations with the couples. Does your partner know the number of people you have slept with in your past? Tata, does James know your number? Yes. Josh, does Lily know your number? And Lily's like, 4. Now, Sean and Joanne don't know each other's number and they don't care. Sean said she could have slept with 500 people in the past. I don't give a fuck. Now, when asked about their number, Sean claimed he had no idea. He doesn't keep a book like Sarper. So Shekinah has yet to tell Sarper her number because he can't handle it. Just knowing that she slept with one other person in her past, her daughter's father, is too much for him. Okay, he would not be able to handle it. So, um, Sean is pushing the point. Sean's like, so what's your number, Shekinah? Tell us what your number is, Shekinah. And I'm like, really, Sean? This is like the juiciest question you could come up with. What is your number? So Shekinah looked like she was just about to let it spill. And Sarper got all crazy eyed. He went, Corona was like, oh, he's getting all crazy eyed there. He's getting all crazy eyed. Better not do it. So Shekinah was like, I just want you to know that that is a huge double standard because I have your number 2500 being thrown in my face constantly, your past constantly being thrown in my face. So finally they move on from that totally, in my opinion, inappropriate conversation. Like Sean wants to start fights. Like, come on. Anyway, so now we move on to, and now this is the best nickname I've seen somebody give her on social media. Weeping Willow Tata. Okay, I cracked up when I saw that. So I'm gonna borrow it for a bit. Weeping Willow Tata and James. Now it's not even five seconds into their segment. And she's starting to get all teary eyed. She's like, I just want my sister to be here with me so I can talk to somebody in my language. And Sarper, the MVP, steps up and says what we've all been thinking all fucking season. She's so cute, but she's crying too much. Thank you, Sarper. He goes on to say, she's basically shitting on his energy. Look at his face. He's always smiling, and she could fuck with his energy. She's already fucked with his energy because have you guys noticed that James has turned into a crybaby? He's fucking crying every 5 seconds too. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Okay. And she's like, I don't even know why I cry. I just do. If I'm having a conversation that touches my heart, I could be talking about the weather and I start crying. Shekinah's like, I used to be like that too. I used to be a real emotional person. Just I couldn't make eye contact with people because I would want to start to cry. And Sarper's looking at her like, really? Miss Heartless? What the fuck are you talking about? So, speaking of Heartless, okay, they bring Angel, a Tata's sister, and Angel's like, oh, hi, Tata. I love you. Oh, hi, James. Like you could feel the tension. You could cut it with a fucking knife, a dull machete. That's how fucking bad the tension is. Okay. So basically, Angel's a bitch. Okay. She is just selfish. She's jealous. She says she loves her sister, but no, she is self absorbed. She just wants, what she thinks is best for her and her sister, not as what's best for her sister. Okay. So She's like, refusing to get to know him. But hey, he's good enough to pay for her visa, and his house is good enough for her to stay in for 6 months. He left it open ended for 6 months. She kind of was like, yo, you should put a deadline on that of like a day. Okay, you should not keep it open ended that way. So she has an open ended visa that's in process. Okay, so before you know it, they're going to be on another season where Tata is going to be stirring shit up. I'm sorry, Angel is going to be stirring shit up between Tata and James. Does someone smell another season coming, or is it just me? So Tata, of course, is like, I just want everybody to get along. It's so hard being in the middle. So now it comes down to that Angel is jealous because number one, James stole her sister, stole, like he fucking tied her up and kidnapped her. And secondly, James didn't come to ask her permission to marry her little sister. I mean, in their culture, that's, that's just tradition that you go and you ask permission of older siblings, parents, whether you could marry the youngest daughter in the family. And James is like, why would I have asked you for permission? You would have told me to go fuck myself. So that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right there. So then they start talking about how James doesn't keep his promises. And I get it. I get that. I get that's a huge red flag to you, Angel. That, James makes all these promises to your sister and to your parents, and it didn't happen. But you know something? You do not wake up next to him in bed in the morning. You do not go to sleep next to him at night. He is not your man, therefore, none of your beeswax. Okay? Do you have a man that you should be paying attention to? And the other thing that I don't get with these two, Tata and Angel act like James snatched Tata away from Angel and, totally destroyed whatever bond they had when Angel lives in fucking Bali, 17 hours away from where Tata's family lives in Indonesia. What the fuck? Okay, it wasn't like they were living together. She lives in Bali now anyway, 15 hours away. So even if Tata would have stood in Indonesia, what difference did that make to Angel? She's 15 hours away. So anyway, it's like mind your business, stay out of your sister's marriage, okay? And yeah, she Tata's like, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to be with him, even if he doesn't want to have a kid. I mean, yes, it's going to be sad. I'm going to be sad because, of course, I want to be a mom. But who knows? He can change. People change their minds. James, all I have to say is I wish you the best of luck. Okay. Tata refused to come to the States unless he started the process. Okay, she wouldn't come and then have him start the process because of all of the broken promises. So he had to pay for the visa and start everything before his wife would come back to live with him in the States. What kind of shit is that? Just saying. So I wish you the best of luck, James, because you are going to be fighting for your marriage the minute Angel arrives at your home. I mean, someone that makes faces like this while you're talking. Yeah, I wish you the best of luck. So, of course, we have Tata crying that she's, happy with James, but just not happy where she is. And it's just tough being in the middle. So tough being in the middle, James. So now we are going to move on to Inky and Corona after the break. And Sarper, MVP of this episode, decided, I want to call Inky, have a talk with him, because I want to make sure that he gets his message across. Because Corona's here. Corona's talking to everybody, and no one has had a chance to listen to Inky yet. And yes, Corona is loud. Okay. So he's like, I know, people from that side of the world, Scandinavia, Iceland, they're like calm, the calm, silent type. And I just wanted to make sure that Inky, gets his voice heard. So he's like, brother, I don't know how you survived it. I don't know how you survived the coronavirus. She is small but deadly. Okay, Inky's cracking the fuck up. So Corona's sitting backstage. Okay, and you know, um, Sarper, comes back after finish talking to Inky on the phone. And Corona's shit talking Inky. And Sarper's like, I feel like it's not fair because we haven't had a chance to hear his side yet. And if looks could fucking kill, Sarper would have dropped dead right there. Okay, the look Corona gives him right here, okay, he would have just kneeled over right off the Shekinah if looks can kill. Okay, so they get on stage, and Corona's all like, oh, I don't want to do this. So Sean is like, I want to give you a chance to say your piece. So Inky says, I've heard, a lot of people saying that I didn't love her, which is really unfucking fair because I did love her and I really tried. I even came to the States to see her, and the person that came to pick me up was a totally different person. It wasn't this nice, loving, fun Corona that I knew. I don't know who the fuck this person was. Okay? So he was like, I was planning on getting the K1 visa. I went to the States not once, but twice. I really, really tried, but I did not know who this person was. And I suggested therapy. She told me I was the only one that needed couples therapy and basically to shove it up my ass. So I couldn't take it anymore and I left. And basically, that's the end of my story. Like that, I'm out of here. Peace. And he gets up and he walks out. And Corona's like, you know something? That was a bitch ass move. That was a bitch ass move. Sean was like, this is the first time that this has ever happened in the history of a tell all. And it seems like Inky is just done. He's done. And from what it looks like next week, they don't get him back. But we shall see. But you know what else is a bitch ass move? Okay. And we all may not like Corona for whatever our reasons may be. But this fake account on TikTok is a bitch ass move. Okay. I do not tolerate shit like this. There is no reason for shit like this. Racist death threats. Whoever wrote this to Corona could go fuck themselves. Okay. And I have reported that TikTok account. And if you guys feel, that you would like to report it, please go ahead. Just on the fact of morals. This is a fucking TV show. How are you going to message somebody a racist death threat? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. And I'm not like Corona's biggest fan, but still, no one deserves that. So that's basically it for the recap for season 7, Tell All Part 1. So next week, are we going to get Inky back? We shall see. Thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Hit that like button. Share my video with a friend or 10. And yes, I know I'm doing my recaps backwards. I still haven't gotten to my B91 for Sunday night, but look out for that one. That'll be coming out soon. Thank you so much for having patience with me. I know I do things half-ass backwards sometimes. See you next time. Bye, everybody.